The first time I saw Maya cross, she was sitting alone in the corner of the academy cafeteria, reading a book about ancient Earth poetry. Pathetic, right? That's what I thought too. My name is Vokran, and I'm a Thex warrior from the Crimson Moons of Dactyr 7. My species conquered 42 systems before breakfast became a thing we bothered with. We're tall, we're scaled, we're mean, and we don't do quiet. So when I saw this tiny human girl, all pale skin and dark hair pulled back in a simple braid, just sitting there like the universe owed her nothing, I figured she'd be easy prey for what we called the welcoming. You know, a little hazing. Some harmless fun. Nothing serious. Oh, how gloriously wrong I was. Hey, newcomer. I called out, my voice echoing across the dining hall. My friends, Kraz and Velkuum, snickered behind me. You deaf or just stupid? We're talking to you. Maya didn't even look up from her book. Now, that made me angry. See, on my world, ignoring a warrior is basically asking for a beatdown. It's considered the ultimate insult. My scales actually darkened with rage, which, if you know Thex biology, means my body was flooding with combat hormones. I started again, stepping closer. I heard you the first time, Maya said softly, still not looking up. Her voice was calm, almost bored. I just don't care. The entire cafeteria went silent. Kraz's jaw literally dropped open. Velkuum made this weird choking sound. Even the crystalloid servers stopped serving. Wait, no, scratch that word. Even the silicon-based servers stopped their work to stare. Nobody talked to a Thex warrior like that. Nobody. You want to repeat that? I growled, leaning down until my face was inches from hers. Finally, she looked up. Her eyes were gray, cold as frozen nitrogen. And there was something in them, something that made my combat instinct suddenly scream danger, danger, danger. But I was too proud to listen. I said I don't care, Maya repeated, slower this time, like she was talking to a child. Is your translator broken? Or is your brain just naturally slow? Oh, the crowd loved that. Laughter rippled through the cafeteria. My scales went from dark purple to almost black. You just made the biggest mistake of your short, pathetic life, I snarled. Maya closed her book with a soft thump. She stood up, and I had to fight not to laugh. She barely came up to my chest plates. This tiny, fragile little human thought she could stand up to me? Sitting down was your first mistake, she said quietly. Standing up is your second. Walking away would be your smartest move. But you won't, will you? She was right. I wouldn't. I reached out to grab her shoulder, planning to drag her to the sparring arena where we could settle this properly. The moment my clawed hand touched her jacket, everything changed. The air pressure dropped. My ears popped. And I swear on my ancestors' graves, I heard something that shouldn't exist in a space station cafeteria. A wolf's howl. Maya's eyes flashed, with silver light. The temperature in the room plummeted so fast that frost formed on the tables. And then I saw it. On her neck, just below her right ear, a mark began to glow. It looked like ancient tribal ink, all swirling patterns and sharp angles, forming the shape of a wolf's head with its jaws open wide. Oh no, someone whispered from across the room. I didn't recognize the voice, but I recognized the fear in it. You touched her, another voice said, this one belonging to an older human male, a professor maybe. You actually touched her. Are you insane? The floor beneath my feet cracked. Not metaphorically. Actually cracked. Fracture lines spread out from where Maya stood, spider webbing across the reinforced titanium plating that could withstand meteor strikes. I gave you a chance, Maya said, and her voice wasn't soft anymore. It was layered, echoing, like 100 voices speaking in unison. I always give one chance. You really should have taken it. She moved. I'm a trained Thex warrior. I've fought in zero gravity, in crushing gravity, in toxic atmospheres. I have reflexes that can track objects moving at supersonic speeds. I didn't see her move. 1 second she was standing in front of me. The next, I was airborne, flying backward across the cafeteria. I crashed through 3 tables before slamming into the reinforced wall hard enough to dent it. Pain exploded through my body. Several of my scales cracked. I'm pretty sure I broke at least 2 ribs. Kraz and Velkuum rushed forward to help me, but Maya was already there. She grabbed Kraz by his arm, twisted, and somehow this girl who weighed maybe a third of what he did flipped a 200-kilogram Thex warrior over her shoulder like he was made of foam. Velkuum was smarter. He ran. Smart friend, Maya said, and that terrible multi-voice thing was fading now, returning to her normal tone. The wolf mark on her neck was still glowing though, pulsing in rhythm with her heartbeat. She looked down at me, and I saw something in her eyes that terrified me more than any weapon. Disappointment. Here's what's going to happen, she said, crouching down beside my broken body. You're going to go to the medical bay. You're going to heal. And you're going to spread the word that Maya Cross is off limits. Understood? I nodded, too shocked and hurt to do anything else. She stood up, brushed some dust off her jacket, and walked back to her table. She picked up her book, sat down, and continued reading exactly where she'd left off. Like nothing had happened. Like she hadn't just destroyed 3 of the Academy's toughest warriors in under 10 seconds. The cafeteria remained dead silent as medical drones rushed in to collect me and Kraz. As they loaded me onto a stretcher, I heard whispers starting to spread. That's her? The wolf marked? I thought it was just a myth. Clearly not. And me? I just laid there, staring at the cracked ceiling, wondering what the hell humanity had been hiding from the rest of the galaxy. 3 days later, I was still in the medical bay when the real trouble started. See, news travels fast in an intergalactic academy. Especially news about some quiet human girl absolutely demolishing 3 Thex warriors without breaking a sweat. By the time I could walk again, half the station knew about Maya Cross and her glowing wolf mark. The other half thought it was exaggerated nonsense. Enter Borg Malthus. Yeah, I know, stupid name. But Borg wasn't stupid. He was a Kravik, one of those massive reptilian species from the Outer Rim who think violence is a personality trait. He stood 8 feet tall, had arms like tree trunks, and an ego bigger than a small moon. When I heard he was planning to challenge Maya, I actually tried to warn him. Keyword being tried. Listen, Borg, I said, catching him in the training corridor. My ribs still hurt when I talked, but this was important. You don't want to do this. Trust me. Borg laughed, and it sounded like rocks grinding together. You got soft, Vokran. Letting a tiny human embarrass you like that. I'm going to show everyone what real strength looks like. She broke reinforced flooring just by standing there. You probably weakened it during one of your clumsy training sessions. There's no arguing with stupid, so I didn't try. The challenge happened in the main gymnasium during peak hours. Because of course it did. Borg wanted an audience, and he got one. Students from every species packed the viewing platforms, buzzing with excitement and placing bets. Maya walked in wearing the same outfit she'd worn in the cafeteria. Simple gray jacket, black pants, boots that had seen better days. Her hair was still in that braid. She looked like she was going to a library, not a fight. She also looked completely unimpressed. This again, she sighed, setting down her bag. Doesn't word travel in space? I thought you people had faster than light communication. Big words for someone so small, Borg rumbled, cracking his massive knuckles. Each finger was thicker than Maya's wrist. I'm going to enjoy breaking you. Cue up, Maya muttered. The referee, a nervous Quellan with 6 arms, quickly explained the rules. Standard combat protocols: fight until surrender or incapacitation, medical teams on standby. Do you yield? The referee asked Maya, giving her one last out. Does he? Maya responded, nodding toward Borg. The crowd loved that. Borg's face darkened with rage. Begin, he roared, not even waiting for the official signal. He charged like a freight train, closing the distance in 3 massive strides. His fist came down in a hammer blow that would have pulverized concrete. Maya wasn't there. She'd moved, smooth as water, slipping to the side. Borg's fist cratered the gymnasium floor instead. Actual pieces of metal and composite material flew up from the impact. Slow, Maya commented. Borg spun, faster than something his size should move, and threw a devastating backhand. Maya ducked under it, stepped in close, and did something I still don't fully understand. She touched his chest. Just a light tap with her fingertips. Borg flew backward 20 feet. The crowd went absolutely insane. What was that? Someone shouted. Impossible. Replay. I need a replay. Borg got up, confusion and rage fighting for control of his face. Lucky shot, he growled, though his voice shook slightly. That's when Maya's expression changed. The boredom fell away, replaced by something colder. More focused. The wolf mark appeared again, glowing that eerie silver beneath her skin. You really want to do this? She asked, and that multi-layered voice was back, echoing through the gymnasium. Because once I start, I don't stop until you can't get up. Borg's response was to charge again, roaring loud enough to shake the viewing platforms. What happened next was less a fight and more an educational demonstration on the difference between strength and power. Maya moved like liquid mercury, like gravity didn't apply to her the same way it did to everyone else. Every punch Borg threw, she wasn't there. Every grab he attempted, she slipped through. And every single counterattack she made landed with devastating precision. She hit pressure points I didn't even know Kravix had. She used Borg's own momentum against him, redirecting his charges into walls, equipment, the floor. The gymnasium started looking like a war zone. And the floor? It kept cracking. Every time Maya planted her feet for a strike, fracture lines spread out like lightning bolts through the reinforced plating. Stay down. Maya commanded after throwing Borg into a support pillar hard enough to bend it. Borg didn't stay down. Pride wouldn't let him. He pulled himself up, bleeding from a dozen cuts, one eye swelling shut. I won't lose to a human, he screamed. Then you won't lose to a human, Maya said quietly. You'll lose to something much worse. Her eyes flashed silver. The wolf mark blazed so bright I had to look away. And the howl came again, that impossible sound that raised every hair on my body. Maya blurred forward, moving faster than my eyes could track. When the motion stopped, Borg was on his knees. Maya stood behind him, one hand resting on his shoulder. She hadn't knocked him out. Hadn't broken any bones. But he was crying. What did you show me? Borg whispered, his voice broken. What was that? Your death, Maya said simply. Every possible way you could die in the next year. Every threat, every danger, every stupid decision. I showed you your mortality. She released him and stepped back. The glow faded from her mark. Her eyes returned to their normal gray. Medical team, she called out calmly. He's going to need trauma counseling along with the physical treatment. The gymnasium remained dead silent as the medical drones rushed in. Borg didn't resist as they loaded him onto a stretcher. He just stared at nothing, tears streaming down his face. Maya picked up her bag, slung it over her shoulder, and walked toward the exit. That's when I stepped in front of her. Stupid? Absolutely. But I needed answers. What are you? I asked. Maya looked at me, really looked at me, and for the first time I saw something other than boredom or disappointment in her eyes. Sadness. I'm what happens when humanity stops pretending to be harmless, she said quietly. I'm what they send when words fail. I'm the wolf marked, and there are exactly 7 of us in the entire galaxy. We're diplomats, warriors, and walking warnings all rolled into one. Why are you here? At an academy? Because even weapons need to learn control, Maya said. She glanced back at the destroyed gymnasium, at the cracked floors and bent supports. And because sometimes the best way to prevent war is to show everyone exactly what they'd be fighting against. She started to walk past me, then paused. Thanks for trying to warn Borg, she added. That was decent of you. Maybe you're learning. With that, Maya Cross, the quiet girl with the wolf mark and the power to crack titanium floors, walked out of the gymnasium. Behind her, 300 students from 50 different species stood in absolute silence, finally understanding what the rest of the galaxy apparently already knew. Humanity wasn't weak. They were just really, really good at pretending.